And that whilst your purpose
that you've signed up to and we share together is to be your best in all you do.
And greatness can only be measured by the difference between before you showed up and after you showed up. If I look at the number of people whose lives have been transformed by your voice, that's how we measure your greatness.
Thank you so much, Fela. What an incredible welcome. And hello, family. Hello, family. The minute Fela said, I'd like you to do, I was like, say less. Whatever it is, say less. I know about Speak for Gold. I'm familiar with it, and I've been just seeing the incredible work you've been doing. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone. It is really incredible and special to be here today. I see many names that I'm familiar with, so I know that you guys are a very special community indeed. So Fela asked me to speak on maximizing influence. And I think it was like yesterday, we decided to do this. So I'm really coming from a heart-centered place today to talk to you about it. I know that you have gotten incredible education and structure and instruction and empowerment, because I've seen your roster of speakers. And today I'd just like to buttress the point, so to speak, because I know that you've gotten great information already. When I think about maximizing influence, what does that mean? I think Fela already illustrated how powerful it is and how important it is that we do maximize our influence, and that you guys do everything that you're here to do, right? Because you are change agents. You are going to impact the world. You are going to change the world one person at a time, one community at a time, one organization at a time. And I'm grateful to be part of that process with you, because that is also my mandate. I'd like to just go over a few points, right, that I believe will help you maximize your influence. There are many technical things around maximizing influence, and there are many things around the external, right, when we think about maximizing influence. But when I think about maximizing influence, I think about maximizing your presence. If you want to have that presence where you walk into a room, you change the energy in the room. When you walk into a space, people are wondering, who is she? Who is he? That your presence already speaks for you before you speak. There's something particular about that. And a lot of people think that people who have great presence just happen to be born with it. Some people have natural presence, but presence is something that can be cultivated. And I don't mean cultivated in an inauthentic way. It can be cultivated when you begin to work from the inside out. And in fact, when I think about the word influence, I think about, fluence means to flow. And so I think about influence being something that truly flows from within. And that thing that you have within you, when you let it flow out of you, it can be very powerful. So I'd love to kind of draw your attention to the internal flow, if I may, for the next few minutes, talk about what it would mean to develop magnetic presence from the inside out, so that you can become highly charismatic, highly influential, and really have the highest level of impact that you can possibly have. Is that all right? Are we all on the same page? So, and of course, feel free, like Fela made me aware that this is a family event. So I'm not going to come into it from a stuffy place. There's no PowerPoint. We're having a conversation. And so if you have comments, I see your chat messages, and I appreciate all the love already. So I see that you're a very open community. So feel free to ask questions or say it, whatever it is you want to say, or if you have an aha or a come to Jesus moment, please feel free to add that in. So the first thing I want to talk about, if you want to have magnetic presence, right? If you want to be able to bring that inner flow, let it flow out, and you want to have that presence that changes everything, because really it's a game changer, honestly, because people actually, very little of what, you already know this because you're in Speak for Gold, very little of what people hear is actually the message itself. Is about what, 8%. Most of what people receive from you is from your, what would fall under the category of presence, your body, language, your tone of voice. But there's even that intangible thing that people don't even really think about. It's that thing, that presence. And so I really want to talk about how to connect to it. The first thing is starting from the inner self, self-mastery. It's difficult to have great presence if you are not at ease and fully connected to yourself. If you are not self-possessed, if you are not self-accepting, if you don't know yourself fully, it is difficult to have great presence. But when you do, even when you are not perfect, even when you make mistakes, and you will, right? I don't know if anyone who had PowerPoint, something might be off, the network might not work, whatever it is. But if you are grounded in yourself, you can recover on the fly. You can, turn it around. You can fail so good it looks like strategy. That comes from knowing yourself deeply. And that's the question I really want to ask you. Do you feel like you know yourself really well? Do you feel like you accept yourself? Do you feel like you honor yourself? Do you feel like you have integrity? When we think about integrity, most people think about being honest and being ethical. But integrity literally means wholeness. Something, when you think about a plane, if they say the plane is it's lacking integrity, it's coming apart. When people lack integrity, they don't have the ability to be as powerful as they can be. The more you have wholeness, the more power you have, the more aware you are of yourself, the more healing you do, the more powerful you can be. So that's the first thing. Do I have self-mastery? And I think it's important because many people here are probably very gifted. Many people are very talented. You might be a very talented speaker. You might be an incredible orator. You might be someone who has great wisdom and insight. But that doesn't mean that you still don't have to do your work, because a lot of people have great gifts, but your gifts, the gifts of well, you guys know, if you know me, I'm a Jesus girl. So I might drop a couple of scriptures here and there. So just flow with me. The gifts of the Lord are without repentance. So your gifts may be powerful, but if you don't do your work, you know how they say that your gifts will make room for you? They will make room for you and bring you before kings. But your work, if you haven't done your emotional work, you guys know I'm certified in emotional intelligence. If you don't have great emotional intelligence, if you don't organize yourself, if you don't have great social intelligence, you might get into those rooms and be asked to leave those rooms, or you won't go anywhere with it because you don't understand how to master yourself. So that's the first piece. That self-mastery is critical. Self-mastery is critical. The second piece, being someone who has great presence, is to be a person who leads with love. And this, I don't mean that in an airy-fairy Hallmark card kind of, just churchy way. No, leading with love means that when I come into a place like this, I'm not leading based on what I want and who I am and everyone should listen to me. I'm leading based on, oh, I have a love of this community. I have a love of the purpose that you have, or the mission. I have a love of, this is the person behind it. I'm supporting that. So I'm coming based on that and service. So I'm oriented towards service. And even if you are, let's say you're a coach in here, or you're coming into the room to speak and you're a transformational speaker. So a transformational speaker, you're here to change people through your words. You can't fix something until you love it. And I don't know if any of you have ever experienced a speaker who speaks really well, but lacks love. Even again, if you can speak in tongues, but if you have no love, it's like the clashing of cymbals, right? So if you don't understand your audience, and that's what love will do. Love will help you understand your audience. Love will let you say, I'm going to go speak to some engineers today. I'm going to go speak to some professors today. I'm going to speak to some men today. Like I speak to women all the time. And if I'm going to go speak to men, I'm going to sit down and think differently about it. I'm not going to bring what I normally just bring to women, because I'm thinking, oh, okay, this particular group of people, they may need this. So I want to speak truth to my audience. I want to speak love I want to make sure they connect with me and I can connect with them. And so that may lead you to do some research beforehand. That will lead you to understand their language, right? So you are going to be able to lead with that love. You can't fix something until you love it. The other thing, and I know you've heard this before, people don't care how much there. Leading with that love. Well, it's a couple of days ago, And one of the young women that joined my mastermind, so as you heard in my intro, I run something called the Iconic Women Mastermind, which is a high-level investment. It's a program that I have. It's a leadership program, but I mentioned that it's a significant level of investment. It's not my first level. A lady who had been part of a course that I did, which was a precursor, she had contacted me. She was part of the course. And I'm not really, it's a course you do on your own. And there was something that happened. She liked the course. She enjoyed the course, but there was something that happened with my team, some logistic thing. And we had dropped the ball in some way, and she was offended by it. So she sent me an email and she told me, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what you guys did. And I said to her, I read her email. So my team sent it to me. I read it myself and I could see what she was saying. And so I sent her a message myself. And I said to her, I'm deeply sorry that what we did hurt you in any way. And I'd love to see if we can get on a phone call together, because I want to learn more about what happened and how I can make it better. That's what I said to her. And we had the call. And do you know what happened after the call? She then decided about a couple of weeks later to upgrade. Okay, so, and this is just a very practical example. She was in a program that was a lower price program. She had a negative experience with us, my company. You know, a lot of times we don't talk about what happens when people have negative experiences. She had a negative experience. And because I sat with her and I talked to her and I honored her, I listened to her, I valued her, and I apologized, right? And she then decided that she could trust me and decided to upgrade into my mastermind. And I was just on an IG Live with her. She's since graduated the program. So she's one of our alumni now. And I got on the IG Live with her because we were talking about this event I'm having in Lagos next Saturday. And she said, and it was the first time I had heard this because I had even forgotten about it. And she said, the reason why I decided to work with you is because you apologized. And I had not really heard anyone genuinely say, I'm sorry, come from a place of humility. I felt so valued in our conversation, even though it was what should have been a difficult conversation. And so I wanted to share that example, right? Like real life example, literally, we just talked about it, is on her live. And it was, you know, really interesting because some of us, we struggle with that. This is why the first thing I talked about was self-mastery. Because if I hadn't made peace with myself, if I had made peace with the reality that while I might be great, I'm going to make mistakes sometimes. We're all going to make mistakes. That's the human condition. And I'm always going to be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. So I've given myself that permission, and that allows me not to lead with ego, but to lead with love. And at the end of the day, everyone I encounter, my goal is how can I make them better? How can I add value? And the biggest value you can really add to anyone is making sure that they know that they are valuable and they're loved. And that was always my goal. And that's a practical way. Now, what would have happened if I didn't? She would have left with a sour taste in her. And the same way she's telling people that, oh, this coach is this, is the same way she would have gone to say negative things, because people never forget how you make them feel. You might be the most brilliant, you know, you're so intellectual, you understand everything, you're the best speaker, all of that. If people feel like crap when they leave you, then you will, over time, whatever success you have will not be sustainable. And I've been doing this work for now close to a decade. So I tell you that leading with love is everything. I could literally just close and go home right now. Because if you get that, honestly, you get that, you get everything. The other piece around leading with love, and this is also connected to the next thing I want to talk about, which is empathy, is listening. A powerful skill for speakers is listening. Most of us spend a lot of time thinking about what we want to say, especially those of us that have the gift of the gab. I know that for me, that was a big part of it, right? I loved, you know, let me just, can I be honest with you guys? Can I share heart to heart with you? I happen to like the sound of my own voice. I might be just a tad, just a little little narcissistic tendency over there, right? Just in that little area, right? I happen to like the sound of my own voice. I'm just being honest, right? And so I can talk to myself happily, right? Now, that's a weakness, but it's a weakness that because God created us all with intention. And even those quote unquote weaknesses are designed to be used for purpose. So because I happen to like the sound of my own voice, I'm happy to speak all the time. I was just at a speaking engagement this morning, or this afternoon rather. I spoke at Just Us Girls Conference. I'm literally still wearing their t-shirt. I just came into the house. Now I'm speaking here. I enjoy hearing my own voice. So that weakness is allowing me to be of use, right? But that weakness was something that I needed to learn to harness in the early days, because you're so busy trying to talk and tell people how awesome you are, and you love to hear yourself talk. The biggest thing you can do is learn how to listen. And when you learn how to listen and listen with intention, and you listen to what people are saying, you listen to the pain point. If you're a consultant, you need to learn how to listen, right? The better listener you are, the better job you can do. It's not based on how great you are and how bright you are. It's how well you listen. Because when you listen, you can hear what the issue is. You can hear what is said and what is unsaid. And you don't just listen with your ears, you listen with your whole body. You listen with your whole body. One of the tools that I use when I go into companies or I go into groups, and it's one of the organizational leadership tools, is something called use of self. And use of self is you're listening, or even when I use feminine energy terms, I talk about somatic wisdom. So use of self, paying attention to the body. Somatic means the body. I'm not just when I feel something and I walk into a room, if I walk into a room of people and I start to feel anxious, and I wasn't feeling anxious before I walked into that room, then I recognize that this feeling I'm having is data, and there's a possibility. So I'll scan myself, I'll ask myself, am I nervous? Am I actually anxious? And if so, what's causing it? If I don't see a point from within me, then I recognize there's a possibility that what I'm feeling is the energy and the emotion in the room. So emotions are energy in motion. So I can feel it. That's why emotions are sometimes contagious. Because have you ever been in a room, everything was fine, and then one person walked in and they had a bad mood, and before you know it, the whole room is kind of in a funk? Emotions can be contagious. And so sometimes you, as a change agent, as a leader, as a coach, as a speaker, you're going to walk into a room and you recognize, wait a minute, something feels, why do I feel this way? Don't always just take it on as yours. Check it. It might not be yours. It might be your client. Maybe your client is anxious. And you have this awareness. Remember, we're listening with more than just our ears. We're listening with our whole selves. And you have this awareness like, okay, maybe they're anxious. And then you can ask some key questions, and you can share like, are you concerned about this deal? Are there some other unspoken concerns you might have? You can go deeper, right? Because you've paid attention, you've used yourself. Does that connect? Does that resonate? Right? And let's talk about empathy. So this is listening. I talked about listening, right? Listening is another empathy tool. When you understand what empathy is, and empathy is really just, it's different from sympathy, right? You guys know this already. Sympathy is when I feel compassion for someone, but empathy is I understand where they are. I don't have to agree. I don't have to want to be there, but I understand where they are. And I need to understand where that person is in order to really connect with them. You can't have influence on someone if you can't have empathy for them, if you can't meet them where they are. So you have to be able to meet a person where they are before you can take them where you want them to go. Okay, so this piece around empathy is so key. And empathy does not come naturally to everybody. Empathy is a skill. Even love is a skill. People think love is a feeling that you feel when you feel a feeling that you never felt before. Do you guys remember that? Those of you that are Nigerian, I don't know if everyone here is a Nigerian, but those of you that are Nigerian and in my age bracket, You probably remember that saying. So people think love is just something that you feel. No, love is a skill. You have to learn to love. Just like empathy, you have to learn to have empathy. You have to train yourself. You have to train yourself. And particularly people who are highly skilled, highly intelligent, highly talented, people who are exceptional, like this community right here. You have to really train yourself, because the tendency is to see life as you are. So you see life the way you are. So you see that you get things quick. You're highly intelligent. You see, you have a certain amount of insight. You think everyone sees the way you see. Like it's, so when you're having a conversation, you're coming from that level, but that's not where everybody is. Everyone might be people might be in a different space. And so if you're having this conversation over here, and this person is having this conversation over here, you have to have the ability to meet them here and take them there. But often what happens is, if you don't understand empathy and how to use it, you are here and then you're kind of trying to either shout them here, fear them there, because people use fear tactics all the time. If you don't do this, this will happen. Fear is the least, it's a motivator, but it's not the most sustainable motivator. I don't like to use fear a lot, because I think love is a more powerful force, right? So you try to shame them. I've seen people try to shame them, right? Imagine like a personal trainer trying to shame somebody up here, like, get your fat ass up or something. Imagine something like that. That's not transformational over time, right? In fact, some people use these tactics and end up disempowering their clients and the people that they have. And they're not using these tactics because they're bad people, but because they haven't understood the power and the necessity of empathy. When you can meet a person where they are, and you can get them to see, I understand what's going on. I can see why you think that way. I can see how you feel. I get it. Now, what if we could do this? What if we could go here? Because when you meet a person where they are, again, you are connecting to their need to be seen, to be heard, and to be valued. So when you meet that person there, then they can trust. It's like you say, take my hand, and they can hold your hand. They can trust you, and you can lead them. And don't think that the more exceptional a person is, or the more powerful or the more celebrated a person is, that you don't need empathy. Because a lot of times you think you may need empathy for someone who is just up and coming, and you don't need empathy for someone who may have already had a certain measure of success. Often people who are extremely successful, actually people have less empathy for them, because they see them as having already made it, and they don't see them as human beings anymore. Actually, they kind of see them as the name, the title, right? So it's so important that we have empathy wherever, with whoever. Yes? So that empathy is a very powerful tool. How much time do I have? The two other points I want to leave you with, two other points. One is simply that in order to have this powerful presence, you have to be present and not presenting. Present and not presenting. So often we're not really present. When we're in a conversation, you have your back stuff going on in your mind, like, oh, I have to send that proposal, I have to do this, da, 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 da. And so you're not really present to the conversation. And people can feel when you're not present to the conversation. When you're powerfully present and you're looking in this person's eyes, you're paying attention to them, that alone, again, people need to be what? Seen, heard, and valued. So they can see, they feel seen. That alone is like, oh my gosh, really, the people who are highly charismatic or have great presence, they make other people feel good. That's what it is, right? And so when that person sees you, when you are that person, you learn how to see that person, you're present, you're not stuck in your mind, you're not off somewhere. It makes the person connect. There's a connection that happens there, right? There's a connection. Often we learn what do we call it here? Packaging and branding and all of these things, right? So we learn all these things. And so you may walk into a room and you're thinking, okay, I learned the power pose technique and I learned this technique and I learned this technique. And you walk into a room and you're trying to do all the techniques and you're trying to remember all the things you want to say and all of those things. And then you enter into presentation mode or performance mode. And so you are performing a role, you're performing a script, you're presenting. Sure, you will likely be competent, you will likely be good, but you will not necessarily be as memorable as you could be if you just showed up as your full self. That's the truth. And honestly, I've learned over the years that perfection is less charismatic, less magnetic than being truly present. Because when you're truly present, yes, authenticity is totally lost when we perform, Kevin says. When you're truly present, you are there as your whole self. And remember the things we talked about before we even got here, right? You're there, you're self-possessed, you're listening, you have empathy, you have love. Even if your presentation isn't 100%, like it's not the most perfect, you are hearing them. You're speaking to them. You're having an authentic conversation. We live in a world that is extremely disconnected right now. Like you see people all the time. You're constantly online, but you're actually constantly disconnected. And so the power of connection, you'll be surprised how that is the game changer. Somebody else would have had the most extraordinary proposal, blueprints, etc. And this other person comes in and it's a 2-pager and they just, hey, Bob, hey, listen, let's really talk about this. I want to share my thoughts with you here. I'm really passionate about this. And that's the person who gets the bid. And you're like, this life, no balance, right? What happened? It's because that person was fully in the room, fully present. So don't let your representative go there. Go there yourself. Go into the room yourself as you are, imperfect, and show up fully, because all of us are imperfect. And actually, perfect symmetry isn't as interesting. Perfect symmetry isn't as interesting. The last thing I want to talk about, which is going to be more esoteric, and some of you may be familiar with it, some of you may not. And it's something that I just want to give you a high level understanding of it, because it can be a really big topic, but it's a buzz topic right now. And it's something that I teach on. And the last thing I think around being highly magnetic, whether you're a man or a woman, right, is integrating your feminine and masculine energy, integrating the two. Every being, whether you're a man or a woman, you have both. Everything on earth actually has a feminine and masculine complement. So we as human beings have our feminine side and our masculine side. Women who lead with their feminine tend to have a more highly, they're heavy on the feminine side, and men who lead with their masculine are more heavy on the masculine side. Masculine energy typically is more that structured, focused, goal-oriented, let's get this process done, externally focused, right? It's like, what's the solution? Let's make this happen. And because more men tend to lead with masculine, those are the traits we typically associate with men, right? Feminine energy tends to be more flow. So if you were to describe masculine energy, it would be more like a boulder, or like a big stone, or a mountain. It's sturdy, it's strong, it's boom, it's there, it's heavy, right? It's strong. Where feminine energy would be described more like water. So it's really flow, it's creativity, it's intuition, it's nurturing, it's receptivity. There are a number of other things that are involved, but it works differently. So a woman who leads with her feminine may go more with her gut. So that intuition, like I feel it in my gut, like I feel like we should do this, right? I don't know if any of you lead with your gut, right? And where a masculine energy led leader might be more like, no, I want to see the data. Well, what does the data say? The two are necessary, right? The two are necessary. But the feminine leader, we can't throw out gut intelligence. So now we're recognizing that gut intelligence, or intuitive intelligence, let's call it that, right, is actually there. I think Forbes did an article highlighting some studies that showed intuitive intelligence is now recognized to be the highest form of intelligence so far, because, you know, before we just had cognitive intelligence. So cognitive intelligence falls in masculine energy. That's that, you know, IQ, right? Before we had cognitive intelligence. And in fact, the way most of us have been taught to pursue success, that's the way we pursue it. But feminine energy, intuitive intelligence would fall into that, right? And now we recognize that intuitive intelligence, which there's science behind it, right? So it's not just, ooh, like I feel it. It's your subconscious processing that is happening, and they're beginning to recognize all that is happening, right? So that is also a kind of intelligence that needs to be harnessed. Now, whether you're a man or a woman, if you're a man and you lead with masculine, you still want to undergird with your feminine side, right? So you want to start thinking about, how can I bring more of that into the workplace? For that matter, empathy would fall under feminine energy, right? How can I bring that into my work? How can I bring more creativity into my work? How can I bring more nurturing into my work? If you are on the feminine side and you naturally do a lot more creativity and intuition and all of that, then you want to be thinking about, how can I bring more structure into my work? How can I bring more systems into my work, right? How can I be more goal oriented into that? And when you integrate, so there's a lot of messaging out there now that almost suggests like you should just be one and leave the other. But that is I think that's maybe an incomplete message, right? I think it's important to recognize that they're both valuable and they need to be connected. They need to be connected. You need to integrate and decide, do I lead more with one and undergird, right? Or do I lead more with the other and undergird? When you are able to do this, why is it really important? Is because if I come into the room and I am fully embodied in my feminine, but I'm also organized, right? I have some masculine on the side, right? Like, you know, I have my structures in place. So a good example for myself, for example, I am very like ideas and creativity and all intuition all day long, right? And if I just ran my business that way and just went with my gut and all the time, I wouldn't still be in business today. Because flow needs, even flow, if you think about water, and this is how a lot of creative people work. Raise your hand if you like this. You just have all the great ideas and just so much flow, but you're not really channeling the flow. It's going here, it's going there, it's going everywhere. And so you never really have much to leverage. But if you can channel the flow, if you can put a dam around it, that's that masculine. Put some systems around it, put some structure around it, it changes everything. Now you can actually leverage the power of your creativity. It is no longer something that, here we go again, Ekene has another idea. No, I put some structure, and those ideas, baby, you know, they're doing some good things. And so I wanted to encourage you that if you can look at these few things that I've talked about in this short time today, that it will totally allow you to maximize your influence, maximize your impact, and bring all the gold that you already have so that it can be used and change the world. So I want to say thank you, Fela, for having me. Thank you, Speak for Gold community and everyone here. I deeply appreciate this opportunity to be with you tonight. God bless you.
Did I say or did I say? Not did I say or didn't I say? Did I say or did I say? That, well, you know, let me say my flow side. I was waiting and I said, God will give us the person he has sent to us. Did I say or did I say? Did I say or did I say? Come on. Okay, so you know how we like to do it. Before we let her go, we're going to ask her a few questions, but I want you to give her feedback. Ekene, I'm not even saying thank you first. I want you to hear what the people feel, guys, all right? And share with you what they learned. And then we can ask a few questions, and then I will thank you myself. All right? Is that okay? All right.
That's okay.
And so you can see it. I just want you, can I just look at the comment section and just get the feedback yourself. Get it.
Thank you. I see it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Give me one word that describes this experience, this encounter that you just had. Somebody said, awesome. No, guys, don't let's go to the lessons yet. Just tell me, first of all, how you're feeling about what it is. Where are you right now? Deep, enlightening, insightful, wealthy, illuminated, phenomenal, dynamic, aligned, deep, okay, eye-opening. I felt love, Itofasa. All right. So it was throughout your presentation, Ekene, love was oozing.
Oh, thank God.
You know, this is so real. Calmness, powerful, accepting. I love her energy. I see love. She's so authentic. I love her vibe. All right, guys. Okay. So let's now go to the side and say, what did you hear? What will you not forget? What is the thing that you would take away that will bring forth the future that will be the transformation that Ekene would have, been grateful that she gave the time for? Love is a skill. I love that. Expression of love, okay? You're to be present and not presenting. Benedicta said, listen with energy, with empathy, lead with love. Emotion is energy in motion, right? Don't just listen. They're moving so fast now. Loving her voice. Flow needs direction. People don't forget how you make them feel. Have a magnetic presence. Listen with intention and with your whole self. Self-mastery. Speak with love. The lack of integrity is a lack of power. Lead with love. Take responsibility. Damn the flow. Definitely, put some structure around that. Lead with the synergy of both male and female energy. All right. Love is a skill. Lead with love. Love will help you understand your audience. Okay. Self-mastery is key. Magnetic. Okay. Let me see the ones that are relatively new. You can't fix something until you love it. Woo! One of the ways, what I say all the time is, you can rule people without love, but you can never lead people that you don't love. The L in leadership is love. And you can rule them, you can manage them, but you can't lead them. You can't fix something until you love it. If you don't know yourself, it will be difficult to have great presence. Know who you are. Integrity is wholeness. People respond better to love than fear. Absolutely. In fact, like you would, the scripture does say, perfect love does cast out fear.
Cast out all fear, yes. Yes.
Go into the room as you are. Don't send a representative. I love that. There you are representing you. Bring you into the space. Don't send her, be fully connected. Everyone must feel heard, seen, and valued. I love that. I love that so much. Fail so good, it looks like a strategy. Oh, wow. Lillian, I kind of didn't catch that then, but it sounds great. Fail so good, it looks like a strategy, right? Reinvent yourself. And that's sort. I'm going to start with just saying thank you. Thank you for being so real, so authentic. Thank you for sharing your time. Thank you. You love the sound of your voice, but we love the sound of your voice. We can't blame you for loving the sound of your voice. It is, we love it too. I would love you to share a little bit and then have a few more questions coming, just maybe about 3 or 4 questions that we can take, see how we can, but tell us a little bit about that whole process of reinventing. Because I know that there are a lot of people here who come into sessions like this. And, someone like you comes and helps them unveil and unmask. Because, it's one thing for us to sometimes not realize that we didn't put this mask on ourselves. We were taught to perform. Parents sometimes teach you how to perform. And they say, behave yourself. When you get outside, they're not dealing with who you are. They're asking you to be who they need you to be. And so before you know it, sometimes parents, kind of put the mask on you, and teachers put masks on you. And, in the corporate place, you are rewarded for the mask. And before you know it, society puts a mask. Family puts a mask, in-laws put a mask. You know, before you know it, friends say, listen, guys, when we get to that place, man, everybody has to, you guys know, you understand? So masking, I don't know if anybody is going to agree with me, masking has itself become a social skill. It's an acquired culture. And yet, that's why the world is in problem. Because because a lot of people can't be real, and those who are real are considered weak and vulnerable. Whereas that's the authenticity that connects. So can you tell us a little bit about how your journey in reinventing yourself has played, and see whether that can help somebody who's trying to reinvent themselves right now?
Wow. So you said started as a pharmacist, and I was like you said, taught to perform. I was taught to perform and taught to behave. You're a good evil girl. You know, you've got to do. I'm the firstborn, so you have to be a good example. Adama. You have to Adama. Exactly. You understand, right? And so I became a pharmacist because it was what my parents wanted. They wanted me to fit a certain mold, to be a professional. And they wanted me to also be practical. I wanted to be a writer. And I also just wanted to explore. It's funny, there was no Chimamanda in those days. Because now my mom is like, I thought you said you want to be get back at writing. What about that writing? See, have you seen Chimamanda? There's this Chimamanda. I said, please. Because there was no template for success for her. So my mom was just being very practical, right? The only templates of success she knew was this, right? And so she was forcing me to be practical. But sometimes when we focus only on being practical, we doom ourselves to being mediocre. So I was a mediocre pharmacist, you know, I was mediocre. I wasn't bad, but I certainly wasn't great. That's just the truth. So I had to decide. There came a point for me, and I'm fortunate. And I was saying recently that people come to this awakening in a number of different ways. Some people come through truly like a spiritual experience where almost like it's like a God call that is so strong they can't run from it. They're just like, I need to accept the God call, right? And that's when they either go off to school or they go find someone to learn from or something like that. I had received calls, but I didn't have the courage to follow them. And so I came through my awakening another way, which is another way people come, and it's through pain. It's through what I call a wilderness experience. It's like Jonah. When you refuse to go the God call, you end up in a whale. So I had, ended up being a pharmacist, for all these years. And as I was stuck in a job I hated, I started to create a life around it that didn't quite work, because one of the central things around it, because I believe your life's work is actually one of the central themes of your life. And so I built a life around it that didn't work. And the day came, there's a saying by Anne Nin, and it says, the day came that the pain to remain in the bud was more than the pain that it took to blossom. And that day came for me. That if I continued,
just please say that again, please.
Okay.
That is something that we have to hold on to so dearly. The pain to remain in the bud.
In the bud, like the flower bud.
Yes, okay.
Yes. Yes, was more than the pain that it took to blossom.
Oh, wow.
And why I like that saying so much is because it illustrates a truth around reinvention. A lot of people do not struggle with reinvention because reinvention ultimately is change, and change is difficult. Change can sometimes be painful. Change also involves loss. So when you hear a reinvention story, it always sounds very sexy, like, she quit her job as a pharmacist and now she's doing this. But there was a lot of loss along the way. There was a lot of pain along the way. But I knew that if I stayed where I was, that pain had no bottom. I couldn't tell how bad it would get as far as the pain. But if I had the courage to leave this thing that I know doesn't work and strike out on my own somehow, figure it out, I would find a new way to live. I'd figure it out. I just trusted that. And I was just in so much discomfort in this life. And I decided whatever I need to let go, I let go of. And I let go of a lot because you're meeting me on the other side of 10 years. So there was year one, there was year two. There were years where there was no money. There were years where there's a lot of work, but no money. You know, so a lot of the things I've had to learn the hard way. I had to build a boat in water, which is why I encourage people, don't wait till you react out of pain. Because if I had not reacted to pain and been proactively purposeful when I heard the God call and actually invested in a process, then I wouldn't have had to go the way I went. I would have probably had a more comfortable way of going and a more organized way of going. So that kind of was the reinvention. I kind of jumped in, I quit my job, just like that, with no plan. And I decided to, you know, I had to take care of myself. I realized there was something around women losing themselves because I had lost myself completely. So I started that process of reclaiming myself, which is why that's a real center of my work. And as I reclaimed myself, I started getting some ahas and some awarenesses. And I know I have a natural coaching and speaking talent, but I decided to go back to school to master, because I believe in mastery. And so with each level of mastery, I had more insight and more awareness, and the quality of my work increased, and the focus changed, right? And so, yeah, where I started then, which was kind of life coaching without clarity. And so some people are meant to be life coaches. I wasn't really quite meant to be a life coach per se, because I started getting dissatisfied at some point. But I moved now into executive coaching, and actually now I do a lot of organizational work as well, right? Because I elevated through mastery. So that's another thing that I think in the reinvention process that is really important. Because when I first started, yes, so I said I built a boat in the water. So I quit my job. Someone asked a question. I quit my job. I jumped into the water. I had no boats. I didn't know where I was going. Had no plan. So I had to figure out, if I don't build a boat, I'm going to drown. So I built a boat. But this is what happens when, you know, you hear these stories, and I want to really point something out. When you first build your boat in the water, because you're just cobbling it together, it's going to look more like a canoe or a kayak. So I built enough to keep moving. A lot of people stop there. And so they're, you know, they build enough to keep moving, and their canoe, and they're wandering as fast as that. But once I could move a little bit, I went back to school. I invested in programs. I have certifications. I studied so that I could move my canoe into a, you know, the next, what's a yacht? And then now maybe an ocean liner. The more mastery, and then the more mastery you have, the more impact you can have. But you have to be willing to invest in mastery along the way, not just relying on your talent. Your talent will get you your canoe, but investing in your talent will get you to that level where you can now carry the people you're meant to carry. So I'm still investing, right? Because we keep getting perfected until the perfect day. So I keep perfecting, keep growing, keep growing. So in a long-winded way, fella, that's the question you asked.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! You know, in a way, I almost think that itself was like another. Just it was not sure if anybody else was like that. That was a separate session from the first one. I mean, so much to learn, so much to unpack. I'm going to give two quick questions, if anybody can, without, you know, so if you can type your question out there, and then I would say thank you. Abiodun says, I feel just like crying right now. This woman is the reason why I signed up 20 minutes before the convention started.
Wow.
Like somebody's just said, you are the purpose. This was what I came for, right? This is a full masterclass, right? The more mastery you have, and you know, I remember DT, you know, saying you're describing my life, you know, Thank you for sharing. Thank you for, like you said, being vulnerable, being authentic. And that really has even helped a lot more people. Well, want to ask with little or no money at all, do you start to build? Okay, well, so somebody's asking, right? That's with little or no money at all, in a way, do you start to build the Kano, or how do you start to build the Kano? I think it's with little or no money at all, how do you start to build the Kano? Like someone else who's just jumped into the water and they just have to survive. How do you go about? Is there a useful template? Now that I'm in the water, what do I do next? I don't have money.
Yeah.
I don't
swim. Yeah.
I've quit my job.
I didn't have money. I didn't have money. Yeah. I think the first thing you have two things. You have your intellect and you have your sweat. So I had a lot of sweat equity in my business. So the great thing is you're a speaker if you're here, right?
I would
you learn to speak.
Sorry, actually, many of the people, I would say maybe 60% of the people
are part of your speaking. Okay.
Are coaches.
Okay, are coaches. Okay,
but it's just that they also do use their voice to influence and but most of the people in this room are coaches. They coach different people at different levels. So I just want you to know you're actually at home,
Okay. Hi y'all. Okay, hi y'all. So professionals, so coach speaking, consulting, all fall under professional services, right? And one of the best things about building a professional services company is that it actually does not require a tremendous amount of capital to start, right? So getting really clear on, if you have little to no money, getting really clear on who your target market is, not trying to target everyone. If you get clear, because initially you need to generate enough capital first to now think about the next thing. So who is your, and they need that you are qualified to offer there. And that's literally what I would say, first step, because sometimes you're looking at like a fella Durtier and you're trying to follow his template. He's been doing this for, I don't think you know the first time I heard you speak. I don't even think you were married to Tara the first time I heard you speak. Years and years ago, I was still a pharmacist then. I was just beginning to explore. So hello. Hello,
we love you with all of it. We'll see you when you come. We can hear you right now. Well, I'm sure that someone's sort that out. Yeah.
But
okay.
here,
or do you want to take a moment to?
Hopefully they'll put up, yes. But yeah. No, I don't know how to put on the gen, so there's no point in my taking a moment. It will come on. No, it says it will come on.
Somebody said welcome to Nigeria.
We'll continue.
Yeah, but we'll soon be welcome to Nigeria.
So, amen. Yes, amen. So anyway, yeah, I would say that get really clear on who you can serve, what you can offer them that they need the most, right? That is for you. And focus on your lane, not everyone else's, because I think that's what's killing a lot of people. You're trying to compare yourself and trying to be like everyone you're seeing out there. Focus on what is Ekene meant to provide? What can I offer? What is my oil? And then what are the needs directly around me that I can actually speak to? And, and don't get caught up, and I'll just say this honestly, if you're just starting out, I know we're in this season of charge your worth and all this. Don't get caught up in a lot of the stuff you're hearing. There's always a beginning. So start somewhere and prove yourself over and over again. Prove yourself. So you start somewhere. So for me, when I started, I was speaking. I did a lot of speaking, and I did private coaching. And what I charged then is not at all what I charge now. Right? But you need to start somewhere. You need to show that you have the work. But I'll tell you, I have so many clients that from then that still refer people now. So you have to be willing to bring your A game no matter what, right? And yes, you need to get receipts. Yes, you need to show the quality of your work, but have a plan for that. And then you say, okay, what do I need for my next level? And where do I want to go next? I would, if you have to make this, if you don't,
my next level, and where do I want to go?
like, you cannot eat. You have to, yes. So that's what I would say to that.
Oh, wow. Ekene, I could have asked a few more questions, but you know what I would love? I would love the people to connect with you rather.
Yes,
And two things that I would like, I have questions around that. What's your IG handle? Because there are some people who just right now, this family just wants to go and love on you right now.
Come on,
right now. So
come on.
One of the
let me just receive all the love.
No, we are just a bond
I'm taking
of
it.
love. Everybody will tell you that's what binds us together. So what people talk about that, speak for gold, we're just lovers. We are just committed. The definition of love that let me ask yours first. Do you have a definition for love? Is there something, is there a way you describe love? Because you speak so powerfully about it. But how do you define love? How do I know when I'm loving? Is there anything you like a definition?
That is good. I don't think I've sat down to write out a definition.
Okay.
But I think love is really. Please, let me
go ahead. You think love is really
I want to get my
No.
No. I have nothing to. No, I'm ready to receive. Give it to me. No. Please, guys, share with me, please. I'm ready to receive. Go ahead.
Somebody said, Brala, they said, FD is all shades of feminine energy today. It's just flowing and follow the structure. I have to follow the structure. There's a structure. Well, so I kind of like you. I never had a definition of love until one day when someone asked me at a conference, what is love? And I heard the words come out of my mouth as I was hearing the words as I spoke. That love is the genuine desire and the consummate, unrelenting pursuit of the very best well-being of another. And that love is love is not a reward, it's a gift. Love is a total absolute commitment to the beloved, but love is not dependent on the beloved. Love is a reflection of the lover. Not sure if it somebody says, please repeat that.
I love it.
Love.
That was good. I know it's depth.
And the consummate, unrelenting pursuit of the very best well-being, not the well-being, the very best well-being of another. That's why love cannot see itself. And like you said, you must be trained to love. So when Jesus said, it's very interesting that he didn't say, love the Lord your God, love yourself, and love your neighbor. It was like, love the Lord, love your neighbor as yourself. And that's because love is so others focused. Love is so other focused, but it comes from self.
Within, yes.
If you don't have it from within, it cannot inflow, like you said, influence.
That's right. Yes.
So FD don't start.
That's good.
Let me just let the people that are loving you, can I
That's
just,
good.
What's your IG handle?
IG handle is @Iconic Womanhood Coach. So @Iconic Womanhood _coach.
Okay.
@Iconic Womanhood.
Somebody help me put that out there, please, in the comment section. @Iconic Womanhood _coach. Yes. Iconic Womanhood _ coach. Then, so guys, let's just go and just follow her right now, right?
Just embarrass me.
The second thing is, when is your next masterclass boot camp? What are you doing here? How can we join? Is there a link? Is there something we can do to connect with you? How can people get one-on-one coaching with you? Because nothing will please me more than as many people try to connect and we will honor you with not just silver, which is the transaction value that you ask for, but this group, these people, we know gold, and we honor we more than yes, we understand gold. Silver is transaction. Gold,
yes,
gold is good. We know how to. So please tell us, when is your next class or boot camp? What are you doing in Lagos and even beyond? And how can we connect with that?
Yeah, so I'm here in Lagos. We're doing an event next Saturday, and it's called Flourish. Ooh. And I'm calling it's a transformational garden party. Ooh. Because we need some transformation, but we also need a party. We've had a long year. Ooh. So unfortunately, fortunately, it's for women. You know, I'll send love to the men, but it's for women only. Just, you know, maybe fella, next time we'll have to discuss.
Sorry, can you see my face?
I know, no. So what can we do? We want to get pretty and we want to be around the women, right? So we have that next Saturday. And if you want to register, I think someone put the link up. Thank you so much, whoever that was. Go to iconicwomanhood.com, which is my website, /flourish. And you'll be able to get all the details and you can register. Then the other thing that I have coming up this quarter, when I get back to the States, we have our 6th annual Feminine Leadership Retreat. We call it Iconic Woman Weekend. And that's happening November 4th to the 7th. And that's at the Four Seasons in Atlanta. So all you have to do to find out about that, and I highly recommend you register, is Iconic Woman Weekend or Refresh Leadership Retreat. Yes. If you want to be part of that, if you're in Atlanta, if you're in the US, if you're in the UK, we have people come from all over. Feel free to just purchase a ticket and come. But soon we're going to announce also, I think we're going to have a virtual component as well that we're going to be announcing. So please stay, if you go to my website, get on my list, stay connected with me on IG. I am on LinkedIn as Ekene Anu, so you can find me there. But just stay connected. And if you want to work with me, like coaching or find out more in particular about something, please DM me, get in my DMs. I love business DMs. So feel free to get in my DMs. Thank you so much, Fela. I appreciate you.
All right.
I appreciate all of you.
Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you for bringing so much love, for sharing. I was laughing at one point in time when you were speaking. It wasn't what you were saying it was just the fact that Madhu had said that cross-dressing might be considered. Madhu has a mask. You are going in. Demand authenticity.
We will know you.
You will not know when you remove your wig. Guys, come on, show some love. Love, 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 love. You know the way we love.